In this video, I'm going to show you how to update the firmware that is on your Cortex through RobotC. So you'll notice that I should have already done the VexNet upgrade utility, first step. Second step, I should have opened RobotC and changed my preferences to make sure that I'm using the natural language. And now as a third step, I'm going to come in here to RobotC, and I need to have my orange USB cord plugged into the CPU and the other end of the orange USB cord plugged into the robot. And I do have my robot turned off. I'm going to come up here to Robot, and then where it says Download Firmware, I'm going to choose to automatically update the Cortex, Vex Cortex. So this says this will automatically detect your Vex Cortex and update it. OK. And then you should see this downloading process. This is making sure that we have the latest version of the software on our Cortex, because that's the brain for our robot. Once this is done, it will say the download was complete and successful, and we're going to click OK. And now we're actually ready to start loading some sample programs and making our robot do something. Again, later when we get to the joystick, we will come back to download firmware, and we'll have to do this also for our joystick. So just something to keep in mind for later. When we start to try to use the remote for our motion, we're going to have to update the joystick. Another thing that I need to mention here is that sometimes things go crazy with our Cortexes, and you'll come in one day, it's working great. The next day, it's not working at all. The very first thing that you should check when you're having trouble with your Cortex and communication is to go to the VexNet upgrade and make sure it's still up to date. And then the second thing you would do is always come here and download the firmware back to your Cortex. Sometimes, for whatever reason, this reverts back to an older version, and a lot of problems can be solved simply by re-downloading the firmware. So thank you and happy programming.